Hello, English learners. Today I have a news story for you about Nelson Mandela. A man spent 27 years in prison, but instead of seeking revenge, he changed the world through forgiveness. This is the story of Nelson Mandela. His journey shows how patience and courage can transform a nation. Let's pre-teach some vocabulary. First word is apartheid. Be careful about the pronunciation of this word. It's not apartheid, it's apartheid. It's a very unique and particular way of spelling a word in or pronouncing a word in English. Apartheid. A system of racial separation in South Africa. This is a period of time when there was racial division and separation in the nation of South Africa. Injustice, unfair treatment. Reconciliation. Reconciliation. Restoring peace after a conflict. If you and a friend are fighting and then you make up and you are nice to each other again, that is called reconciliation. Imprisoned. Put in prison. If someone has to go to prison, they are imprisoned. Resistance. Fighting against authority. If there is a group of people who are fighting against the rulers and the powers, they are part of the resistance. They resist the leader. Freedom, the state of being free. In America, you will hear a lot about freedom. Forgiveness, letting go of anger towards someone. If someone hurts you, but you choose to forget about it, that is called forgiveness. Leadership, the ability to guide others. If you are the main person in a team, you are the leader. You have leadership. Struggle is a difficult fight or effort. As you learn English, you may have a struggle to learn English. Legacy, what someone leaves behind after death. When people remember you after you die, what they remember, that is your legacy. All right, story time. It's now time to listen to the story of Nelson Mandela. Listen and read the story. Nelson Mandela was born in South Africa in 1918. At that time, the country was divided by a system called apartheid. This system treated people differently based on their skin color. Mandela studied law and became a lawyer. He saw injustice everywhere and decided to fight against it. He joined a political movement to end apartheid. The government arrested Mandela for his actions. He was sent to prison for 27 years. During this time, he stayed strong and never gave up hope. While in prison, Mandela reflected deeply on peace and forgiveness. He realized that anger would not solve the country's problems. He began to believe in reconciliation instead of revenge. In 1990, Mandela was finally released from prison. The world watched as he walked out as a free man, but he did not seek revenge. He chose peace. Mandela became the president of South Africa in 1994. He worked to unite people from all backgrounds. He showed that leadership means healing, not dividing. Mandela became a global symbol of peace and justice. His life continues to inspire millions of people. He proved that forgiveness can change the world. All right, it's time for our comprehension check. Let's see if you understood the story. What system was in place in South Africa during Mandela's early life? A. Democracy. B. Apartheid. C. Communism. D. Monarchy. You should know the answer because it was one of the vocabulary words. It is B. Apartheid. All right, number 2. How long was Nelson Mandela in prison? Do you remember the answer to this one? I may have read it a bit too fast, but if you remember, he was in prison for 27 years. That's a long time to be in prison. What was Mandela's attitude after being released from prison? A. He wanted revenge. B. He left the country. C. He chose peace and forgiveness. D. He stopped politics completely. C. He chose peace and forgiveness. Afterwards, what important role did Mandela later become? Was he the prime minister, the president of South Africa, the judge of the Supreme Court, or the United Nations leader? He was the president of South Africa. What is the main message of Mandela's story? A. Power is more important than peace. B. Education is the key to success. C. Forgiveness and peace can change the world. Or D. Wealth leads to happiness. Well, this one should be easy. If you got this one wrong, I don't think you paid attention to the story. Forgiveness and peace can change the world. All right, now let's talk about some grammar. In this story, we used a lot of the past perfect verb tense. We used the past perfect to show that one action happened before another past action. So we have the past perfect it says has had plus the past participle, and the past simple is just a verb in the past form. So the examples in the story we had like Mandela had studied law before he became a political activist. Because had studied law was before he was a political activist, we say had studied to emphasize the fact that this was before political activist. He was released after he had spent 27 years in prison. Even though this comes later in the sentence, had spent is before the past simple verb of released, it is still using the past perfect tense because the 27 years in prison happened before he was released from prison. He realized forgiveness after he had experienced many years of isolation. Had experienced many years of isolation happened before forgiveness, so that's why experienced has the word had in front of it. Let's do some practice. Let's complete the sentence. Mandela blank law before he became a lawyer. So because this action happened before he became a lawyer, there's two past tense verbs, and this one came before he became a lawyer. Became a lawyer is the second verb. So study is the first verb. It's going to be in the past perfect tense. He had studied law. We use had study because studying law happened first and becoming a lawyer happened later. The past perfect shows the earlier action. Let's go to number 2. He was released after he blank 27 years in prison. Remember that the word spend is an irregular verb. Had spent. He was released after prison after he had spent 27 years in prison. He spent 27 years in prison before he was released. So we use the past perfect had spent to show that the action happened first. Oops. The country changed after people blank the need for peace. Had realized. The past perfect is going to have had plus the past participle verb realized. We use the past perfect had realized to show this earlier understanding. Exercise number 2. Choose the correct form. Mandela had left prison before he became president, or Mandela left prison before he became president. Well, because this action happened before he became president, it's going to be had left. Past perfect shows the earlier action. Next, the people celebrated after he blank was released or had been released. Had been released. He was released before people celebrated. We use past perfect for the action that happened first. He blank to focus on peace after his imprisonment. Which action happened first? His imprisonment happened first. So had decided was the later experience. Past perfect shows that this decision came from something that happened before. Simple rule to remember is the past perfect is the first past action, and the past simple is the second past action. Nelson Mandela's life shows us that time, struggle, and patience can lead to real change. Even after 27 years in prison, he chose forgiveness instead of revenge. His story teaches us that true strength is not about power, but about peace. Thank you so much for watching the video. If you have any questions, leave a comment in the comment section below, and be sure to like and subscribe for more videos.